So I just got done watching the Tyre Nichols video, and there is absolutely nothing that was justified in that video whatsoever. And I have to start with that. I've been doing this work of trying to bridge the gap between law enforcement and the community for many years. I've called out a lot of stuff that looks bad by police officers that ends up being justifiable. But in order to bridge that gap, in order to maintain the integrity of our profession, we also have to call out what's wrong. And in this situation, although rare, when we know that something is justified based on just a short investigation or even some small videos, in this rare occasion, I would have to say that based on what I saw and based on the information right now, it was unjustified. And the reason why is because the officers, especially according to case law, as they're trying to utilize or trying to effect an arrest or prevent escape, they did not use reasonable force. What I saw was deplorable. What I saw was not professional. What I saw was a lack of tactics. What I saw was a lack of people being able to take charge of a situation and control it professionally. It lacked all of that. In all my years of training as a police officer, one of the things we train for the most is tactics, being professional, and make sure you control a situation. And in the video I just witnessed, I did not see any of that. The reality is this, and I've said this before, a lot of times when we see misconduct like this in law enforcement, it's not a policing issue. A lot of times it's a human issue. There's a humanistic issue with the officers that were involved in this altercation. This absolutely had everything to do with these officers were ill-trained, ill-prepared, and quite frankly, were in the wrong state of mind and had bad hearts. You see, when you have a bad heart issue, when you're not prepared, when you react and respond emotionally, it causes you to do disgustful and distasteful acts like that. And so, like I said, although this was quick and although this investigation or this incident just happened a few weeks ago, there are rare instances that I could look at and say, without a doubt, like this, there's nothing justifiable about it. And so my family grieves for Tyre Nichols. We shouldn't try to, look at his actions that proceeded from the standpoint of, even though he fled, even though he was resisting arrest, as officers, we are trained to overcome resistance. We are trained to utilize reasonable force to take people into custody. And so although he did those actions, we can't use that excuse as why those officers utilized that level of force that they did. What they did was wrong. There's nothing justifiable about that. And so I want you guys all to know that, look, this is not a representation of law enforcement as a whole. Law enforcement, I believe, is a truly honorable, noble profession, and there are plenty of men and women around the country that devote their lives dedicated to serving their communities and putting their life on the line every single day. So let's not look at these officers as being a representation of everybody and look at this as more of an isolated event, but more so how can we continue to improve our profession. Thanks again.